Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. I want to talk about Chris Taylor. Where did he come from? This guy, coming into the season, looking at his numbers, 2016 a 213 hitter, 2015 a 170 hitter, 2014 had a good season, 287. Even to have him as an infielder here though, so this guy is a guy that's really come out of nowhere this year. Question is, will he be able to sustain that? Who knows, right? First thing I want to do with him, since he's now an outfielder, primarily a left fielder, go ahead and switch his first position to left field. Secondary position, just put him as an outfielder. Now, looking at his splits, 344 hitter versus left-handed pitching, 300 hitter versus right-handed pitching. On my scale that I use when I'm doing these in-depth kind of ratings, analysis, and updates, for a guy that's hitting 300 versus righty pitching, we generally put him at an 80. But with him, I know he's had a lot of ABs over the course of the season. I'm going to play it a little bit lower on the conservative side and check back in a month or two and see if he's kept it up. Now versus lefties, a 344 hitter. What I do is if a guy's over 325 versus a righty or a lefty, I'll put him up over 90. Again, in his case, we'll keep it a little conservative for him. And like I said, check back in later in the season and see how he's doing. Home runs, 9 in 227 ABs versus righties, and 4 in 93 ABs versus left-handed pitching. And again, if you do the math, it would work out roughly about the same over the course of 600 ABs. And that's what I use in terms of determining what kind of power numbers I'll use for a given guy. And all these stats, I always say this in every video, all these stats are as of August 3rd when I'm looking at him right now. So if we multiply out his 9 home runs by about 600 at-bats, get a guy that's probably in the mid-20s for home runs. Versus lefty pitching, it's about the same. So what that would be is I go 70 power if a guy's if a guy's on pace to hit over 20 home runs versus a righty or a lefty. So we could probably put it in the mid-70s. If he was a more established guy, I would do that. But we'll go ahead and put his numbers here in the low 70s. Give him another point or two for lefties because his pace is a little bit higher versus lefties. See here he's hitting 313, 379 on base percentage. So I go ahead and subtract those two numbers, and that's how I calculate plate discipline. That's just an equation I found that helps somewhat over time, that helps him draw walks, things of that nature. One other thing I wanted to look at was he does have 13 steals, so it does look like he's a pretty good base runner. Here, just had him as a 60 for stealing tendency. I want to go ahead and bump that up a little bit here, maybe about 80. That might be a little generous. Let's go 75. Now, like I always like to do, after we go ahead and update these ratings, go ahead and take a look at their hot and cold zones. So versus righties, and this is all on ESPN.com. If you've seen my other videos, you've heard me talk about that. And I always have the computer here on my side, so I'm just going in and going ahead and making these changes while I'm looking at the web page here on my computer. So that's how he looks versus righties, lefties. And that's Chris Taylor, everybody. 313 hitter right now. We'll see if he can keep it up with the Dodgers. All right, thanks to everybody for watching this video. I've got plenty more. Take a look if you're interested in seeing how I've kind of determined the ratings for some of these other players that you might be interested in. Take care, guys.